What is up, YouTube? Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. Peace and blessings to those out there healing and prospering. Let's get right to it. I've officially made it to 1 year where I did not, smoke any weed, touch any weed, or be around weed. I've come to a point in my life where I've realized that marijuana is not what I was told to be as a young, dumb teenager. I started smoking when I was 16. And the only reason why I started smoking was just because of the fact that I stopped doing sports. When I stopped doing sports, I realized that I had to get a job to make money, which looking back, it wasn't even worth the effort and time just for what I was making. I was making minimum wage, like I was making like 8.25 an hour, making biweekly checks, part time, making at that time was like 280, 260. If I was lucky, $300 if my hours were good. But I never got, enough money to even like sustain myself because I built up a habit of smoking weed during that time. And weed, anybody who smokes weed or been around weed knows that weed is not a cheap drug or even something you even want to dabble in if you're making minimum wage or even making $20, $30 an hour. I think, in my opinion, I think weed is not beneficial at all. I think it really does kill your ambition. I think it really makes you go crazy. And I think it's not what, how they make it seem. Like, how they make it seem like, oh yeah, you're this creative, artistic person when you smoke on it. When I was on weed, I felt like I felt like I felt lazy. And if I was smoking, with like a backwood or a tobacco wrap, like a Swisher Sweet or something, yeah, I'd feel lazy and pumped up at the same time because of that nicotine rush. It was almost if like at one point in my life I thought weed and tobacco wraps were literally my alcohol. Like it was the thing that got me like turned up. Eventually, I just let it go because of a few reasons. The number one reason why I left it go was because it was just like overpriced. I never got the right amount. I just kept, getting skimped over. Um, and another thing was that I was always treated horribly as a person who was always trying to buy some of that ganji, some of that weed, that Mary Jane. It seemed like every person who was distributing to me, they'd always treat you like you're below them. They never like, want to be professional or, have good business practices. They just like, treat you like shit. And I remember one day I just got tired of it and I was like, dude, fuck this. It's like it's not even worth getting high. And then on top of that, it just wasn't, giving me that production I need in life. It was really just making me feel bad about myself every time I smoked it. Then one day, I just said, screw this. Like I'm gonna just stop it. I don't even want to deal with it. And it seemed like all the people I grew up with, or all the people I smoked with back in high school, from 16 to 21, or I mean 16 to 25, those people who are still smoking weed, they're in the same position. Their health is not in check. They're still broke, and they're still complaining about life, how nothing is fair. But they're willing to get disrespected just to get some weed. Like I work with somebody who always complaining to me like, how did you smoke? How did you stop smoking weed? Or why did you stop smoking weed? And I just say, I just stopped, man. Like I care about food more than weed. And that was also another reason too. I just wasn't eating like I was before. You know how they say you get the munchies when you're high? I wasn't that type of person. I get the munchies when I'm drinking alcohol, which is, I plan on stopping that eventually. But as of right now, weed is not what it, how it's like played out in the movies or TV shows. Because most people, who do this type of drug or habit, they're like in a very bad situation in their life, and they just can't, for some reason they just can't get out of it. It don't matter, how long they've been doing it, they just gotta keep this habit going. I feel like rap music was part of it too, because I was always, listening to that. But I still listen to rap music, but I just don't smoke weed. I just like, I just listen to it, but I don't really take it, to heart or to my mind as much as, like the young boy. I mean, not the young boy, but the little kid, who hasn't, developed his brain yet. And it was cool. Like I met some really cool people when I was smoking weed. But was it worth the outcome of what I'm dealing with now? No. No. If I could go back in time, I would just stay broke and don't even have a car. But that meant that I could actually, you know, do a sport. Like doing a sport was way more valuable and important looking back now than working a minimum wage job. What, just to build character, just uh just to learn how money works. Like I remember one time when I was at my job and they were over here talking about raises, right? And they were saying like, yeah, once you work here for a year, you get like a 3 month raise of 20 cents. And I'm sitting there thinking like, what the hell am I gonna do with 20 cents? My supervisor, well, my team lead at the time had the nerve to tell me, hey man, that goes a long way, 20 cents. Boy, I didn't even say nothing. I just walked off. I was like, this place is full of shit. But I mean, you live and you learn. I'm just glad that I don't work in a fast food restaurant anymore, nor do I ever want to step into a place like that. I tried it out again, a few months ago, but now it's just not even worth it, bro. Like purpose is deeper than what it is. And weed ain't cutting it, bro. Like stop trying to compensate the fact that you want to feel good when you can literally feel good by, go weightlifting, go run a mile, get a runner's high. A runner's high is way better than a weed high by a long shot. But see, that's the thing. Most people who smoke weed heavily don't really understand this because they're not physically fit. And don't tell me, you got people like Joe Rogan, you got NFL players smoking. That's a different ball game, different level. Those people are established. You're not established. You don't have $10,000 in your bank account. You don't even have $1,000 in your bank account. And you over here talking about, yeah, man, weed. There's nothing wrong with weed. So, but yeah, I'll see you guys later.